Yes.
Bogdanov, he did it.
Il bought.
He went all in.
Dump it. No! No!
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero. When it comes out, zero.
Just hodl, bro.
Welcome to the TGH Podcast. This week we have something special for you guys. One of our community members, Keegan, is coming on to give us some insights into what it's like to be a crypto trader and investor. Keegan, you've been involved in crypto for how long now? Just over a year?
Yeah, just over a year and a month now. Not long.
And what's it been
It's been
like?
a wild ride.
What's it been like? It's been a wild ride.
Oh yeah, wild ride to say the least. I actually got lucky. I got in, I think, what was it? Yeah, it was April 2020, and so it was right after the crash. Bitcoin and ETH and everything else fell to tears in March, and I got in a month later when ETH was at like 165 was my first entry.
Wow.
And then just kind of rode the wave from there. But back then there was like no guides. There was nothing. You search stuff on the internet and you hope that you found reliable information, and you didn't really have anybody to ask. And that's when I found Uniswap. Oh, that was a game changer.
By the way, did you find the Gem Hunters first or Uniswap first? What came first? Because you've been part of the Gem Hunters now for a good part of that year, that 13.
Yeah, all the way back in. I found you guys back in like September, and then I found Uniswap in, I think it was June, and so I rode the Uniswap craze all summer, and it was insane. And I actually came to an AMA in the Gem Hunters and decided to stay. Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, I like you guys. You guys are pretty chill.
Do you remember which project it was?
Yeah.
Funny enough, I was a community manager for the Bonk token.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that now. Yeah, I remember that. That's right.
We came on in, and you guys were great hosts. And I was like, actually, you guys are pretty dope. So I decided to stick around, and the rest is history.
I remember thinking, I wish he'd leave Bonk and get more involved in the TGH community. And then slowly but surely you did. And now you're obviously one of our team members helping out. You've been a massive help, and we can't thank you enough for how much help you've been to other people. So even though you've only been involved for just over a year, you've helped so many other people in that journey. And it almost reminds me of my journey and Panda's journey, for that matter, in some respects. But
I really appreciate that. I mean, that's the goal, right? Like, because when I came in, I didn't really know a whole lot, and I didn't have anybody to help me. And so at the very beginning anyways, and then I came to you guys, and you guys helped. I mean, yeah, I can't even explain how much you guys helped. But I wanted to give back a little bit of that too, because I learned a lot in the past year. Like I've ridden through, I don't know how many different waves of either selling too early or selling, oh shit.
No worries.
what's a fucking ice cream van then? We have an ice cream van running back and two past our house. Sounds similar to that.
That was a phone alarm.
It's quite liberating though, isn't it, when you can give back, even when you are less experienced, and you still can give value to other people and help other people, make other people's lives easier. Because it is quite an emotional journey, isn't it? Especially when you're quite new to crypto. It's quite fresh, isn't it? All the emotions are obviously there. You can't deny that, even though.
Well, for like the first scam you ever walk into on accident, you lose either a couple $100 or a couple $1,000, and you're like, man, that hurts. Like, that was painful. You can't get it back. It's gone. The guy walked away, and it's crypto. You can't find this guy. He's gone. And so you just got to kind of like bounce back as much as you can. And 100%. It's hard though.
It was really hard, even for me, when I was just losing a very tiny portion of my portfolio. It was still hard getting rug pulled. Back then, I think my biggest rug pull back then was 2 Ethereum, and I was like, that's fucking was like 1.3k. It wasn't that much at that time, like in total 1.3k, but I was thinking like when you in real life, if you would just burn 1.3k, it would be fucking insane.
It's not fair, is it? It feels like you feel as if you've been robbed, literally. And I think
that's exactly what happened.
It's hard.
Basically, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you do get robbed, which, I mean, unfortunately, that's like a huge part of the space, and people don't know how to recognize it half the time.
100%, and obviously we're trying to do that as well, aren't we? We're trying to give people a bit of guidance on how they can stay safe. And it is
because there's so many rug possibilities.
Well,
like they've gotten really clever.
They have. Well, yeah.
I feel like people are kind of screaming for it nowadays. They know it's a scam, but for them it's like either I hope the scam lasts long enough for me to get out.
Yeah.
Or they're like, I'm just making quick money and quick in and out.
We said this last episode, didn't we, Panda? Whereas years ago, back in 17 and 18, they were pretending to actually
They were pretending there is something. Nowadays, it's just like Everrise, Safe Moon.
Well, I always say that the investors set the scene and the standards, and it's like the investors do want just a quick, easy money. They don't care. It's a scam. Just give us the money. We don't care. Scary, really, because the space is changing all the time, isn't it? The markets are changing all the time, and I feel like it's changing more for the worse recently.
Right,
with all the
definitely.
meme tokens and scams and.
Well, and I think the hard part is we took that massive dive for both Bitcoin and ETH. And so I think a lot of the new players, I mean, if you look at like on-chain data and stuff, it shows that a lot of new entries sold off. So it's not that the old holders are selling, it's that people that just bought within the last year are selling again. And so, you know, what that means is that you have a bunch of people that are in it for the quick money. They lost a bunch of money and now they're going back towards the scams because they're like, I just want to make my money back. And that gets really hard because then you get in that revenge trade loop. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are stuck in that right now.
I recently tweeted on that. So if people think they can now just hop into meme tokens without any value actually, or start leverage trading to make their losses back, that's not going to work. Yeah, especially if they don't know what they're doing and they start to get into all these fucking scams, getting into leverage trading, over leveraged. That won't end well.
Once you go down that road, that is the road you're taking. There's no, it's very hard once you choose that direction and you focus on that direction just to jump off. It's not as easy as people think. Once you dedicate your time and effort to that route, you're on that route. It's hard to get off. So,
yeah, because leverage, I think I threw $100 last year back sometime, and I lost it within like 5 days.
How much money did we lose, Panda, leverage trading in 2000?
I actually didn't lose too much. It hurt back then because back then I was fucking broke, but it was good that I lost everything on that account so quick. I think the issue is when you don't lose, when you have a streak and you're like, oh, I'm so good at this, I can do this.
When you get hooked,
that's my future. You have this whole, like, you're building a vision around that you're like a leverage trader. You just wake up, make a few clicks, make a couple $1,000, and it might work for some time. But if you still don't know what you're doing, you still don't have risk management, it's basically gambling, because you can have luck for 10, maybe 20 times if you're super lucky. But if you fuck up one single time without risk management, it's all gone. All your wins for nothing.
Well, that's how I learned real fast. I went from $100 to $1,000 and it went to zero.
Back to zero, yeah.
So I was like, well, never trying that again.
I think you got to get wrecked quick to understand and overcome those emotions of getting wrecked. And I keep mentioning emotions, but it's true, isn't it? They are real, and everyone has to overcome them. Everyone's got their own way of overcoming those emotions, and until you have overcome it and gone through it, you'll never know what it's like. And some people have just made so much money, and now they're obviously losing money, and it's the first time they're having to deal with all this. It's a shock to the system, and many of those people will not make it. They will just not make it.
That's actually an interesting point. I would like to know how you, as a very fresh investor, you've just been around for 1 year, so you don't have the bear market experience we have. We learned over the past cycle, but how did you learn to preserve your capital, or what are the steps you're taking?
I would say the biggest influence is the fact that I'm broke. So I took out loans to pay for college because it's nearly impossible to pay for college yourself here in the United States. So took out loans, so I got to pay those back off. And so I started off super risky, I'll be honest. Over the summer and like even into the fall. And then January, February, I was like really risk on. And then I kind of decreased my risk once I hit a certain value. Because I knew that like at the end of the day, I have to take profits. Like for example, the Uniswap airdrop, I had to sell it. How could you not take that money? Take your profits.
I did. I regret it
You
now.
know,
I regret it
The
now.
thing is, I think we still made pretty good money because we've only been looking at, we sold Uni at, I don't know, $4 or something, but most of us sold into Ethereum, and Ethereum also pumped 10x.
True.
exactly.
Yeah, true. But I did regret selling that so fast. I rushed to sell it. I was anxious,
I
thinking
did the
So was
same,
I.
yeah.
it's going to dump so hard.
But looking back, the Ethereum we got out of it also 10x in value, so we pretty much hit the Unitop, so to say.
True.
Can you
If
believe?
you just turn your Uni straight into ETH. I mean, but then again, yeah, a lot of people did not. They threw it in because that
Yeah.
was the rough Rectember month, September. So people threw all their Uni on alt tokens, and then they just got murdered, and they lost all the money they just earned.
Remember
So-
that period last year where we got there's a few projects that came out during that period, like Plotex and Give and a few others.
Yeah.
That was a really rough period, wasn't it? Even though we were in this bull market, it was a rough period.
It was kind of like similar to what we got right now. It was shitcoin bull market, but shitcoins at that time were like Unicrypt, or which later on turned to be actually somewhat solid. But at that time they were like unknown. You didn't know who's behind them. It were like the first projects with anonymous teams and stuff like that. But now you really have pure Ponzi schemes while everything is dumping. These, like when I open Dex tools right now, it's gonna hurt, but
I was gonna say, do we even want to open Dex tools?
The
It's
weirdest
gonna be
shit is trending on there. So there was stuff called baby Doge, I think. Oh, it's not even loading for
Even
me.
CoinGecko this morning, we were talking about CoinGecko this morning, weren't we? And trending on there right now, you got Shiba, Dogecoin.
It's fucking
nothing
painful.
new.
Like
Yeah.
Emax, Ethereum Max is top
Safe
trending. Then you have
Safe
Evertop,
Moon.
you have Safe Moon, you have Sailor Moon. It's
Sailor
it's
Moon.
painful.
People just
It
call
is
in
cool.
anything now, aren't they? They're just
Oh,
using
there's
these
well, they
Elon-
just come.
Pussy
They don't need a name.
Pussy Credit is a
These
token that
Elon-
is trending right now.
Elon tokens were trending, weren't they? Elon Moon, Elon Space. It's just like, oh my god, it's just so boring.
Yeah.
Sick of hearing about
mean-
Elon tokens.
Hell, I think Shiba went to what was it, 12 billion market cap?
I think
It
it was
was
13.
I think it was
13?
I think it was 30 actually.
Yeah.
Oh, 30. That's worse.
30.
I think yeah.
Oh, that's so much worse.
Either
So,
way,
like,
it was crazy.
and
I think even now it's like 6 or 7 billion market cap, I think.
it's still huge. Yeah, it hasn't really gone down.
Did you guys
I mean,
know that Hex is like also in tens of billions market cap?
Oh my god, Hex.
I thought,
It's,
yeah, Hex is actually top
I
10.
remember when that was such a small project and everyone was calling it a scam. And
I'm still calling it a scam.
oh my
Flip traded that
god,
a few times.
can't see the market cap here on CoinGecko.
They don't include them because they're locked, but like you can unlock them whenever. Like they're not stuck there.
Ah, right.
So I consider it circulating supply. If you can unlock it without a lockup period, I consider it circulating. Because I mean, yeah, you'll have to pay a fee, but like it'll take someone 5 minutes if they want to make it circulating again.
So that way the market cap would still be 50 billion or something.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's what I mean. I recently tweeted that I think of the bottom isn't in yet. I don't think it's the cycle end, but I think the mid-cycle correction isn't over yet. I think we will have more shakeouts along the way. Maybe we pump back a bit, but we will definitely have more shakeouts until we can go up consistently back.
If this is a bear trap, then it's got to be convincing. And this is what a lot of the professional traders are saying that if it really is a bear trap, then it's going to need to be convincing. And to be convincing, it's going to need to test every single one of us. And this morning was a funny one because I think you woke up quite early, didn't you, Keegan, this morning? And I think Keegan woke up during I think Bitcoin was hitting 28K. 28K.
Oh, I woke up in the middle of it crashing. It was awful. Literally watching it go red.
Unbelievable.
It was mid-fear. I actually woke up and I was like, and it was weird though, because I woke up, thought, oh shit, you gotta sell, because that's what the little guy in the back of your mind says, right? You're like, you get fearful, and then you're like, wait, now that means I should buy. And the like smart money will do that, but when you get fearful and you trade on emotions, that's how you just get wrecked long term.
100%. And we were talking last week about Michael Saylor, and a couple of the other big tech companies are still loading up. Michael Saylor just bought was 500 million? 500 million,
nearly 500 million.
$37,000. Bitcoin was at 37K, and someone said on Twitter on one of the tweets, he must be stupid. He's buying at resistance, but I don't think he cares really. I think also it's a statement him to show I'm in this for long term. I don't care about
the thing is I think he was the one who sent us back to resistance, because when you're buying these amounts, you're just pushing the market.
Michael Saylor on his own.
Well, I mean, ARK Investments, Kathy Woods, they did an analysis, and if you even throw like 1% of all, because you have a few institutions saying they're going to throw like 5% or whatever in their holdings into Bitcoin, right? Even if you throw 1%, it would boost the price by $40,000. So I could see even just Saylor throwing in 500 million and it pumping it a couple thousand. It's possible.
It's all his buddies as well. I mean, all these guys are talking to each other, and I feel like they're all loading up now. But they're not going to tell you, are they? Not going to say, are they? We're loading up now.
Of course not.
They're going to load up on the quiet, and then they're all going to say together. They're going to get together, and as much of a scam that sounds, that's the way the stock market works.
That's how it works.
That's the way everything works. That's life. Everything is manipulated, isn't it? In life is manipulated by the governments. So that's how all these big players work. And
there's this saying: if we miss out, if we miss the boat, then the boat is gone. But if institutions miss the boat, they call it back. So
I like
price is pumping, they just send it back, no problem. Load up again.
Definitely.
And I think that's what's happening right now with Bitcoin. I mean, I'm probably going to be given shit for this, but like, if you cover the Wyckoff chart like directly over the Bitcoin chart right now, we're in the middle of the spring. If it lines up, this would be the exact spring. And so it makes people worried, like, when people wake up. I assume the whole United States woke up and panicked the hell out of it. But now, I mean, already shit eats back up to what, 1900?
It's pumping, man. I'm not happy with this.
19,
I only got one buy-in so far.
Yeah, I only got one.
I was hoping Bitcoin back to 25K, ETH back to 1,200, 1,300. But if you look at ETH on
1,200.
If you look at ETH
that
on
would be painful.
Look at ETH BTC, it's still quite pumped, isn't it? If you look at ETH, the BTC ETH chart or ETH BTC, it's still quite pumped, isn't it? ETH. If it went back to support, then it would be around 1,200, 1,300. I mean, we hit 1720 today. It's not far off, is it? Really, when you think.
I was hoping for maybe 1,500 to load some more.
But I think it all the expectations of all of us are always surpassed either way, on the highs and the lows. We always say, don't we? I think it's going to go to this level. I can't see it. My dad was getting a little bit interested in crypto, by the way, and he was saying there's no way it's going to ever drop below 30K ever again. Today, 28K today. And he's quite new, sort of looking at it, and he's like, "Oh my god, the markets! What's going on?" And I'm like, "Welcome to crypto. Welcome to crypto. That's what it'll do to you. Shit will keep you up at night."
The thing is, I was looking at Ethereum, and it was only down like, how much is it? Like, now it's only 3%, but it was down like 14-15%, I think.
15% yesterday.
Then I was scrolling through my watch list on Binance, and everything was down 30%. Now it's still like 20%, 15%, 19%. So that's actually rough considering they already dropped 20%, 15% nearly every fucking day.
Yeah, so
now you have stuff down.
Going forward, like for people watching this, investors and traders who are watching this thinking, well, what shall I do? There's a few options, isn't there, on what you can do in this moment in time. You can wait for the market to correct. You can wait for Bitcoin to bounce and the market and alts starting to rally, and then you can start buying in. Or you can slowly diversify and average into positions now, and then save half of your portfolio for when it does bounce. What's your guys' opinion? What's your plan?
I'm not really sweating, and the reason why I'm not sweating is, I think if you're sweating right now or the past few weeks, that means your portfolio wasn't diversified properly.
Overexposed.
By that I mean not only diversified into Ethereum and Bitcoin, or like high caps, small caps, but also having a good portion in stable coins. I remember back in the days, I was part of another group, and the experienced guys always told me, keep stable coins. And they had always like 50% stable coins. And I think I mentioned that already. So I was thinking, like, if I have that in stable coins, I miss out on gains. I could put that in this token or this token, and that goes 10x, that goes 5x, and I make more money. Why should I keep it in stable coins? I don't make any money holding it in stable coins. But after some time, you need to get wrecked to learn how it works. So even if you just keep these stable coins to buy the dip, just to flip it right away, you always have opportunities where you buy on support, or you even buy slightly below support, and you just sell the bonds for, I don't know, even if it's just 15%, and you can easily always make 15% when you buy on support. So you can just do that, and in the meantime, you can keep it in pretty safe stablecoin farms, even something like the super safe stuff that gives you 20%, like Yield app or whatever. So
Yield is good,
yeah, you will always make money, and then you have stable coins to buy the support, but also you don't sweat and like, oh no, I'm all in this shitcoin or that shitcoin and the market's crashing. What am I going to do? It was a very important election. I think might be one of the most important ones. Just have a big chunk of stable coins always.
Yeah. But that percentage is down to each and every person, depending on their portfolio, what they're aiming to do, what they're aiming to achieve. Yeah, there's so many factors. So,
if your portfolio is tiny, you obviously want to have more exposure to riskier tokens. To some degree.
That's a good point. That, like, as Panda just said, then if your portfolio is smaller, then the idea is you want to build it up. So being heavy in stable coins would be pointless. So you want to be more exposed to the market if your portfolio is smaller. And yes, that might hurt more, which we've all been through, haven't we? We've all been through the hard times, and it is riskier. That's part of it. That's part of making money, taking risks, going through all emotions. And it is painful, but once you make that money, then, as Panda said, diversifying more into stable coins, so you can, when those opportunities come up, you've got the capital to grab them. But if you haven't got any stable coins, then you won't be able to take those opportunities when they do come up. So the percentage of what you hold in stable coins, it depends on you, your portfolio, how much money you want to make. There's so many questions to be asked, isn't there? Maybe we should do a video on that later, talking about how people can decide, how much capital and how much risk, how much they need to diversify, expose themselves, etc., etc. So, what's your thoughts right now, then, Keegan? What are you doing to an extent, without going into it too much, obviously, regarding your portfolio?
Well, I mean, so for, I don't know, through like from January through probably March, I was pretty heavily in alts. Obviously, we had all those pre-sales that went just insane. We had, I don't even know how many pre-sales that launched. Who knows how many launch pads. It was insane. And everything went crazy. And I was like, eventually all this stuff is going to fall. So I tried to convert a lot of it to ETH as much as I could anyways, without just going totally out of alts. But right now, I'm probably what you would qualify as irresponsibly long. I mean, I definitely have a good amount of USDC because I like to keep it. It's good. It's stable. And like Panda said, you have to learn by getting wrecked that it's important to have. But I'm still probably like 80% ETH right now.
Doesn't it? Doesn't holding USD and stable coins also? I find it gives me a stable mind and mentality.
I can sleep at night.
Yeah, exactly. If I was overexposed to the market, then I would not be sleeping at night. And I've been there, obviously, and so have you.
Mm-hmm.
That's another advantage with holding.
Well, and I try to set limits for myself, like based upon like real life. So if I have like, for example, loans to pay, I try and keep like X amount of months of loans in advance in USDC just in case.
Yeah.
Because you want to be responsible with your money, right? Like, but you don't want to just gamble it away. Because you want to be not risk averse with the money that you need.
How old are you again? Was it 22?
23. Yeah.
You're pretty responsible for your age.
Yeah, I mean, let's just how many 23-year-olds are there? Do you think do you know anyone really? I mean, I don't know many people that age getting involved in crypto. Do you know many people, Panda? Have you got many friends, Keegan, who are your age in crypto?
A lot. I have a couple around, that I went to college with that but I would say out of like all the people I know, maybe 1%.
How did you get involved?
Like two buddies.
So how did you get involved in crypto then?
Oh, funny story. My dad actually asked me what the halving was.
I remember you said this, yeah.
Yeah, his buddy at work was like, yo, the halving's happening. You should look into Bitcoin, right? Because we couldn't really go to casinos at the time because COVID just hit. And so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll throw some money on crypto, and started on Coinbase because it was the only option I had really that I knew of anyways. And was like, yeah, I'll start with like $50. And I was like, oh, hey, it went up. That's kind of cool. I'll throw 50 more. and it started just kind of averaging it over like, I don't know, a month or so. Got like Cosmos, Link, ETH, bought a tiny bit of Bitcoin at first and then sold it after like a month because I was like,
boring.
I learned about the space. Yeah, it was boring and I realized ETH was better. So
it's amazing how many people think like, a lot of us are holding Bitcoin. They're like, yeah, he's into Bitcoin, yeah. And it's like, yeah, I've not held Bitcoin really for years. It's like, Bitcoin? What is Bitcoin? That's really...
Only the first one. But the goal, actually, I do want to convert to Bitcoin in the long term.
Yeah.
Because, I think a lot of people said, if you hold one, in 10 years, you're going to be a millionaire. And because there's only 21 million of them. And there are 58 million millionaires in the world right now.
Is that right?
There are. So there are not enough Bitcoin for the number of millionaires that exist.
Actually not if Sailor keeps buying it all up.
Yep. So just to, that put it like in huge perspective for me that there's only so many. And when there's this much money in the world and the US dollar is having what I would call issues, begs the question.
They say, don't they, there's not enough Bitcoin to go for every single millionaire to own one. And there's going to be obviously exponentially more millionaires as the markets go up, not just the crypto market, but the stock markets as well. Because both, obviously, people are making life-changing money on both crypto and stocks, mostly crypto.
Mostly crypto.
Not right,
stocks
not right now. Not right now.
I've recently seen an article saying, I'm not sure if I have the numbers correctly, but it was something like 2/3 of all millennial millionaires have 90% of their holdings in crypto.
That's right. Yeah, and was that UK? Yeah, and there's also the UK one. Over half of British millennials have invested in crypto over stocks in the last year. So
that's huge.
That is huge.
I can't really say that it's that much for Germany. I only know of two guys who are invested. One of them invested like 5 or 6 years ago, or even more. He had like $10 on his PaySafe card and just bought a couple of Bitcoin with it. and kept holding. He's not really engaged in the market. He's always saying that's his how do you say it? Like for when he's
retirement.
Retirement, exactly.
That's a better thing to do as well, is not engage too much in the markets, because if you are holding and engaging and watching the charts all the time, you'll get emotional and you will end up selling at some point. So there's another tip, isn't it, to people who are holding long term, is don't engage, especially in crypto Twitter.
I think that's actually a really good point to make for new people. Separate your wallets, because like I started off where I just had everything in one wallet, and it gets really easy to tempt yourself to say, oh, I have an extra little bit of Ether or some extra BNB or whatever, and just use it to buy an alt. Don't do that. Like make another wallet and like just put it aside, because like that way you're way less likely to spend it. Don't approve it. Don't just leave it there, and you're way more likely to hold it. I have a few that I separate around so that, I have a trading bag and then my sit still and just leave it for a long time bag.
Love it. That's a great tip, by the way, for newer, less experienced traders. What other tips would you give newer, less experienced traders who are coming into the market right now, or have just entered the market in the last year or 6 months? Because you've obviously progressed way faster than most people. What's been your secret, in your opinion? Has it been the time and effort you've put in? Because obviously you've been super, super active. I found... Go on.
I would say, honestly, the biggest thing is don't be afraid to make mistakes and like ask people questions. Because I learned, I can't even tell you guys how much you guys have taught me. But the other biggest thing is making mistakes. Is when you make those mistakes, you actually have to be like self-aware and choose not to make those mistakes again. Because if you just get stuck in that loop of just constantly making the same mistake over and over again, you're not going to get anywhere. And so it's okay to make mistakes. You just got to learn from them, and you'll progress a lot faster. And that requires taking risks too, because you can't make mistakes if you don't make those risks. And so it is an experience game on one side, but it's also you have to look at what you've done and look at the mistakes that you've made and what has worked and what hasn't. Be self-reflective, I guess. I guess it's just good advice for life, but it's good for crypto.
It is. What you just said then isn't just good advice for crypto, it's good advice for anything. Life, work, hobbies, interests, everything. What you just said then, self-reflecting and monetizing yourself and the situations and taking them seriously, and wanting it badly. Like, there's so many people out there who just don't really want it, do they? They just kind of want it. It would be nice. There's a difference, isn't there, between wanting something, really wanting something, and thinking about it consistently, where that's what your priority is. So you've got to find... just the hope. Yeah, exactly. And you're going to find a way of achieving that goal if you're constantly thinking about it.
And I think that helps that I love crypto so much. I just find it cool as hell. I mean, honestly, it could change the way the world works. It could completely change our economic system, our financial system. I mean, it could change 99% of administrations. We could have them all run on blockchain. I mean, Estonia already does. So why can't we? It's more efficient, costs less. You'd be able to run everything at the speed of now. And we would be able to change the world with it. I think it just needs a few years.
Definitely.
Right now, this is the huge adoption phase. I think the massive amount of people flowing in, and we haven't quite hit exponential adoption, but I think that this year, next few years, that's when we're gonna really get massive inflows of people everywhere that use it.
You can feel it, can't you? You can feel it happening already. And I feel like COVID sped up that process. The whole
Massively.
COVID. Like, even cash is now becoming scarce. A lot of restaurant shops, companies are now only accepting cards. So cash is now becoming a thing of the past as well. So digitalization. Yeah, it is weird. It is sort of weird. Yeah, I kind of like cash. But
I've always liked cash. I haven't had an issue with it. I have the issue with like being able to print a bunch of it, but like as a tangible use of money, it's not bad. Like, it's easy, but I just don't like that our government can print a trillion of them tomorrow.
I just realized what I said then. I like cash. Everyone's gonna be like slating me now. It's like blasphemy. But don't.
You like cash. Crazy.
I shouldn't have said that.
That's okay. I mean, honestly, cash is king at the end of the day until it isn't.
Yeah.
It's important to remember. So, I mean, because at the end of the day, it still pays your bills. So
100%.
kind of still need it.
When you look at this space, the community, the industry, and you look at all the smartest minds in the world are entering that space now, not just one at a time. They are entering in exponential numbers, which is exciting for us. But if you were not part of the space, and so many people are not part of the space yet, and they're not aware of what is going on. But if you could make people aware, and if you were not part of the space but you became aware, wouldn't you? You would almost rush, wouldn't you, to be part of the space? I mean,
that's kind of what I did. Yeah, I found out about it and I just dove in.
I did too. I was, yeah. I mean, exactly same as you.
Because it's interesting as all hell. That's about it. That's the best way I can put it. It brings us all together in a way that nothing else really does. Like, there's no way I would have met you guys if it wasn't for crypto. I wouldn't be having this phone call. I wouldn't have met anyone that I've met over the past year, or learned the things that I have, or made the kind of money I have. So, it's life-changing.
It is life-changing. It isn't just the money, is it? It's socially, it's the community, it's the revolution. It does feel like a revolution to me. It really does. And I grew up being a history lover, watching all of these different conquests and revolutions in the past, and I just felt like I missed out, and then got involved in crypto, and I was just like, I'm at home. This is it. I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm. This is a revolution. It's just not it's not on battlefields. It's
a peaceful one.
So to wrap this up today, Keegan, what would you tell investors regarding, obviously the market's been a bit shaky today. We're all feeling it. So what would you tell newer, less experienced investors, or even people who've been involved in crypto for a while?
I would say don't look at the chart too much today. If you need to, though, zoom out, and then B, just remember that the fundamentals really haven't been stronger. We have countries adopting, we have institutions buying by the hundreds of millions. We have Visa and MasterCard using Ethereum on a daily basis. We have Ethereum settling more than all major banks, basically, on a daily basis. At the end of the day, the space is fundamentally bullish. So don't let institutions shake you out. And if you need to take profit, obviously. Don't throw yourself too risky there, but don't let yourself get shaken out. This is the greatest wealth transfer in the history of the world. Do not miss that boat.
Love it. It's a great finish, Keegan.
Thank you. I enjoyed being on this. This was awesome. I have enjoyed being at the Gem Hunters for months now, and so I think it's awesome that you guys invited me on. You guys have had incredible guests already, so it's an honor to be on, honestly.
You've been a massive help and a massive part of the community, and over the years, I can count on two hands how many people have become as successful as you in so little time. That's something to be proud of, and all the insights that you've given people here is priceless. So I hope people do take that on board, and it's all about the strong mindset and having that initiative, and as you said, self-reflecting and taking this seriously, and anyone who does that and puts the time and effort in will do super well. So thank you so much, Keegan, for coming on today. I'm sure we'll do it again.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was an absolute pleasure. I had a fun time.
Cheers, Keegan.
Cheers.
Bye.